Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so glad you have joined me today. I see the comments. Music lover, you're so nice being here while you're in the car waiting for your husband. Hopefully, his doctor's appointment is fine. You guys, thanks so much for being here because today's live stream is going to be different. In fact, you're probably noticing that I didn't really get prepared for today, but I did. This side of my face, it's all done. This side, we're going to do together using some dupes. So, before we get into all of the makeup magic of today, let me know where you guys are coming in from. And I think last time we talked about like what your drink was. It didn't have to be alcoholic, of course. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast. I mean, not that there's any judgment here, but let me know what color shirt you're wearing. And I will say that because my husband saw me today and he said, you look like you're wearing a doily from like the 70s. So I thanked him for his not helpful fashion advice. So let me know what color shirt you are wearing and where you're coming in from, and that will get us started kind of figuring out where everybody's at. And then we're going to get into the drugstore dupes because you guys, drugstore dupes have really come a long way, and there's no reason to buy more expensive unless you like a beautiful collection, a nice bottle. Charlotte Tilbury has beautiful packaging, for example. But if those things aren't important to you and it's more about the wear, then I've got some of my favorite drugstore dupes for you. Now, today we're going to focus on the complexion. So your base, your concealer, your color corrector. I've got a bronzer as well as a blush. And then what we're going to do is I will post on my Instagram stories in 4 hours from now so that you'll be able to see what this looks like in 4 hours, because I know you guys, we're in a community here. We love makeup, but we want to know, how does this makeup work on our more mature skin over time? Because it always looks good when you walk out the door. It's how is it going to look at noon? How's it going to look at 4 o'clock? That's what we want to know. So up on my Instagram stories in 4 hours after we end this live stream, I'll pop on and give you a little look of what the makeup looks like so you can see how well, or maybe you think it's not holding up so well on the drugstore side. All right, so you guys are coming in from all over the place. That is awesome. You guys, let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you were on Glam Girl Gabby's live stream yesterday. She had Wayne Goss. If you have not seen that, go over to Gabby's channel when we're done here. Not yet. It's there. You can get there when we're done. Check out her live stream. It was really phenomenal. If you are a Wayne Goss lover like I am, and a Gabby lover, of course, then that's a really cool live stream. They shared tips and tricks on mature skin, how to blend your foundation to match your neck, just some really cool stuff. So check that out if you did not get a chance to see it. All right, so let's talk about what I have over here. Bay Area, yay, my mom lives in the Bay Area. All right, Hayward, actually, it's where I was born. All right, so let's, oh, thank you, Nita. Came across your channel last week and I've been binge watching ever since. Thank you. Yes, there's over 750 videos. So in June of this year, it will be my 5th year anniversary on YouTube. And I get to see many of your faces in my comments. And it's just, we've really had a great time building this community. So thank you guys for being here and being a part of it. All right, so without further ado, let's get into some of my favorite drugstore dupes. So on this side, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Foundation. This is $52, and it is nice, but it is $52. It is a full coverage semi-matte, so we needed to see something. Hi, Tina. So we needed to find one that was comparable. And I wasn't sure about this one from NYX. You guys, this is the Make 'em Wonder. Nikki LaRose talked about this a lot, and she has oily skin, so I listen to what she says and I have to think about, can that adapt for my more mature skin? And she was not wrong on this. So this is $16. It is a medium to full coverage, semi-matte, very similar to, comes in 42 shades, very similar to the Ulta Beauty Complexion Crush. And I know my Canadian friends cannot get this in Canada, so I thought I've got to find you an option that you can have full coverage that is drugstore that you can get and access. I have it in shade 16 neutral beige. And you guys, the coverage of this, and again, I will share with you what this looks like in 4 hours on my Instagram stories, just so you can get a sense for what does this look like. Oh, you just bought it, Tina. Do you love it? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Because I love everyone's opinion. You guys, these are not new to me. That's why they're on this list. So I definitely have my thoughts. I'm not trying it for the first time. you have normal to dry skin. Yeah, I have dry skin, you guys. And so I was kind of concerned of how this was going to wear on my skin because Nikki is oily, which is the opposite of me. Although before, I got to the other side of life, I had oily skin and I did not know I would miss it, right? Just did not know how much I would miss. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for this top. I'll tell you a funny story about this top. There's a boutique here in Seattle, and they asked me if I would come do an Instagram reel with them and just show a couple of their outfits that they put together for me. It was a really fun experience. And at the end, they said, we'll give you this top for participating. I'm like, okay, perfect. But my husband said it looks like a doily. It's from the brand Sky is Blue. So if you have a boutique or something in your area or online, that's where you could find it. So really flawless coverage. You can see here's the Charlotte Tilbury. Here's the NYX. Again, from the price point of $52 versus $16, I mean, there's not much difference in the way that looks, right? The key will be how it wears, but I'm ahead of you there. All right, so now let's go into, I haven't tried it yet, teacher on spring break. No makeup. Yes, good for you. Thank you for being a teacher, and please enjoy your spring break because that is not an easy job. So yes, no makeup days during spring break. I'm all about that. All right, you guys, in terms of color corrector, on this side, I have RMS. Now it is, it's so good, but this shade Cherish has been hard to get. And if you have kind of discoloration like this, more in the blue and purple, this is a really nice shade. Make sure that focuses for you. But I found one that is pretty darn close, and that is this is $49, by the way. It is worth it, but it is expensive, and it's often sold out. So Morphe has this color in peach, and it is $12. And it says it's peach, but you guys, I don't really think it really looks peach on. See the difference? So Cherish and peach. So again, if you like to color correct, but you need a formula that is mature skin friendly, and by that I mean it is serum-y, it's not thick, it blends nicely so that you can very lightly put your concealer over it, or maybe you don't need to put concealer on at all because this covers well enough, then I think you'll really like this one by Morphe. Yes to glam. We love glam. So you can see that discoloration right there. I am going to show you how nicely this peach, let me grab out my little mirror because that way we can see what we're doing. This covers that up so nicely and in a nice thin layer that you could then go back in and apply your foundation, or you could just add a little bit of concealer, whichever you want to do. We're going to use concealer because I have a drugstore concealer for you guys, which I am always on the hunt for, and you're going to like this one. In fact, next week's Friday Face Off is this new concealer that I tested, and I love it. So, but see how nice that covers up right through here, all that purple. And again, this is is it $16? $12, and it lasts all day. I'm going to get just a little bit more because I need it right here. And let me know, do you guys carry discoloration on this part of your face as well? That's kind of new for me, and I think it's because my skin is getting thin in that area, right around the bridge of my nose and into this little hollowness. If that's a pain point for you, let me know and I'll do another tutorial. I did do one recently on how to cover up this discoloration, so you'll find that on the channel if you are somebody like me that struggles with that. I'm just going to take what's left and go right under here. I use a color corrector too, especially today. No sleep last night. Boy, did I need it. I know color corrector has become like a lifesaver. It is what we need as we mature and are grateful to do so. So I'll tell you an interesting story. My mom, who lives in the Bay Area, she has dementia and has had it for, I think, 5 years now. And it's interesting because I was talking to her the other day and I was trying to explain what color corrector was. And if you've ever known somebody that has dementia, their ability to process information is just a little bit delayed. And it's sometimes, it almost reverts back to them 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. And as I was explaining color corrector, she said, like in a Crayola box, And I'm like, no, not exactly, but it could be. Depends on how you look at it. So it's just interesting how their brain works, right? And we're just so grateful to still have her. So you can see, isn't that beautiful, you guys? See how that discoloration is just gone? 12 bucks. It looks just as, this one actually, I probably need to touch up. You know what? Let's just touch up the RMS side. This was done about, I don't know, 3 hours ago. So we're going to use the drugstore to touch up the RMS side because I didn't powder it, and I should have, because I would have had a better look. All right, so color corrector, and there are different shades in this color corrector. So if peach is not what you need, then you don't need to get peach. But if you are looking for that Cherish by RMS and it's sold out, then Peach by Morphe is a really very good dupe because not only the shade, but also the formula. Oftentimes the dupes that I share with you guys is more based on the formula because I don't really believe in sharing with you a color dupe, except for in that color corrector because it's the color that sells the product and that's what you're looking for. But I do want to share with you more of the formulas in a dupe so that then if you know that this formula is a dupe for that formula, then you can go find the shade that works for you and you have the whole shade range to select from. You don't have to go right to that one shade that I shared with you in a dupe to get the shade that you're looking for. All right, so next, let's go into the concealers. All right, you guys already know RMS Revitalized Concealer. This is a gold standard for me. I do have very wrinkly under eye areas. I'm not totally dry. I do hydrate with the Mimua Volume Up Time Block Cream. So I do hydrate first, and then I will go in with the RMS on this side. But this is also a little expensive. It's $42, I believe. It's a very nice hydrating concealer. However, you guys, I talked about this one the other day, this Essence Silky Blur that they sent. And I kind of didn't want to like it because to me, Essence, I love their mascara. So I'm like, okay, I've got you covered with the mascara. But this Silky Blur wears every bit as good as my RMS. In fact, I would say it wears probably more close to the Charlotte Tilbury the Airbrush concealer, which you know I love. I did a Friday face off on that. Here's the doe foot applicator. I wear it in shade 150. And again, I didn't expect to, I'm running out of hands. I wasn't expecting to like this one. It's $6. Not that that's a reason to question its ability to work, but it's $6. So I'm like, I don't know. But you guys, I really like it. So you can kind of see some of the discoloration right through here and where we put in that color corrector from Morphe. I'm just going to take the Nikki the Rose N19 brush, pick up some of that concealer, and I'm going to share with you. This is a medium to full coverage buildable concealer. Comes in 21 shades, and it lasts all day without powder. I don't really put powder on my concealer. I know many makeup artists suggest that you do, and they're right in saying that. I just have not found a powder that doesn't accentuate these fine lines and wrinkles. So I'm more on the hunt for a concealer that I can press in, get out the wrinkles. You're right, Tina, you're absolutely right. I was going to ask AI actually how many concealers are on the market. Kind of like Maybelline with mascara, right? Wouldn't it be interesting to know how many mascaras Maybelline has on the market? I'm sure there's north of 20. But concealers can also be frustrating because as we've gotten older and we carry those wrinkles through here, finding a concealer that covers and doesn't settle is difficult. Now, this is called Silky Blur. It doesn't leave a silky finish. In fact, as I've been trying it, at first I was laughing, you guys, because I'm like, why would they call it Silky Blur and call it a matte? Because matte and silky don't do anything together. That doesn't even make sense. But I really think that after I've played with this a little bit, I believe they're using the word silky because of the formula, because it is a nice, creamy, silky type formula, but it dries down to a soft matte. It is medium coverage, but buildable. And I usually find that I do need to build it a little bit, but I like to have glam under eyes. I just don't like to have anything show through. But if you like more medium coverage, you can get medium coverage out of it. If you like to have full coverage on some days, then you can build it up to get full coverage without worrying about having too much product buildup and get that creasing underneath. The other way I have used this as of late is I have been finding that I'm wearing more of a tinted moisturizer. And with that, I need to do some spot concealing. So I'll add a little bit of this concealer just where I feel like I've got a little bit more hyperpigmentation or some veins or things that I don't want to show. And this blends out really nicely so that you don't have to wear a full coverage foundation. You can wear a sheer coverage tinted moisturizer, tinted serum, and then just spot conceal with this concealer. So I just found it to be a really nice option. And again, $6. It's every bit as good as my RMS, and it's definitely a perfect dupe for that Charlotte Tilbury one because it is a thicker full coverage foundation concealer. The Charlotte Tilbury one is. So really happy with that. All right, so moving on, let's talk about, I splurged on this one. No, that concealer is Essence. It's Essence New Silky Blur. Thank you, Jodi, for questioning so that I can make sure I cover that if I didn't say it. It is Essence Silky Blur. And again, it comes in 21 shades. I have it in shade 150. That's the one that works best for me. All right. So I think you'll like it. I know your makeup taste. I think you'll like it. All right, you guys. So next is this Dior bronzer stick. And I purchased this because, again, I've been influenced by influencers. I should know better. And I was curious about this because I like their darker one for the contour. So I'm like, well, let's just give this one a try. It's what I have on. It is right up through here. You can kind of see, hopefully I did a good enough job blending it so that you don't actually see it. But this is a beautiful creamy bronzing stick. This comes in about, I think, 6 shades. But you guys, it sells for $52. Let's just have a moment. That's it. That's as much as you get, maybe an inch for $52. I just struggle with that. I mean, it's Dior. This is plastic, so it's not even like faux leather or anything, but it's Dior. So let's just take that for what it is. It is beautiful packaging, but do we love packaging? It's okay. So I have an alternative $13 for you. Oh, good. Let me pause here and read this comment. You tried the BS Small brushes that I recommended, and they are amazing. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that because while we're talking about dupes, I am a huge fan of BK Beauty brushes. I love the Nikki LaRose brushes by BK Beauty, but they can be pricey as well. But those BS Small are really good brushes. And so thank you for reminding me to talk about those because can't you custom? There are so many packages available. You guys, you get them on Amazon. We'll put a link at the end of this if you aren't on Amazon right now to those brushes. I have the gold handled ones and I also have the bamboo handled ones. I really like the bamboo handled ones because they're just a little bit thicker, but you can really look at those set of brushes to customize. If you want more eye detail work, you can get some that have more eye detail work brushes and then maybe a few complexion face brushes or vice versa, or a whole set, or just a few. There's so many options that you can really customize what brush set you need. And I have washed those brushes many times with Cinema Secrets that I also order on Amazon, and they hold up. I don't find bristles sticking to my face, which I sometimes do with more expensive brushes. And those BS Smalls have been phenomenal. All right, so the dupe for Dior is L'Oreal. Let me put the lid back on so I can show it to you. This is the Lumi Bronze Lipstick. This comes in 5 shades and it sells for $13. And I have it in shade, I should have wrote that down, but as all women over 50 do, we have our readers right near us. This is a Toast to Sunlight. That's the shade I have. That would be an interesting question. How many pairs of readers do you have? Let me know in the comments. I probably have 7 and I can never find it when I need them. So 7 apparently isn't enough. All right, you guys, the way I like to use this is I will just take a smaller brush. I don't use a very big fluffy brush. This is an old Kat Von D brush. I should reach out to Nikki LaRose and say, could you please design one like this? Because do you guys have any of these old Nikki LaRose brushes? They're so good. I bought the BK brush and they're so pretty you can't use them. I know but it's like the fine china, Tina. It's like the fine china back in the day. Our parents taught us to not use fine china unless it was a special occasion, and we're debunking that. You got to use it. You got to use it. You deserve it. All right, so here is this cream bronze. I'm going to put a little bit on my brush just because I try not to go in directly onto my skin anymore as I've gotten more mature. If there's one lesson, you guys, I would think that I have learned from taking more classes and courses about mature skin makeup and from watching hours and hours and hours of makeup tutorials, it's that as we have gotten more mature and our skin has more texture, one of the best things you can do for applying makeup is not going directly on your face with any product. Go on the back of your hand first and or go with your brush and your product. Of course, we know that you should minimize your use of powders, use more creams and liquids, but going directly on your brush or the back of your hand first, much more friendly to your more mature skin and the texture of your skin. But see how creamy this is? It's blending out without much effort at all. I'm holding the brush in the center. If I wanted to apply more pressure to get more blendability, I would hold closer here. If I want more light pressure, which you'll notice I'll do when I'm using more pigmented products, such as a blush, I'll hold it back here because I want less pressure. But for something like bronzer, I want to have this amount of pressure so that I can easily blend the product. But this looks every bit as good as this side, right? I mean, it's just every bit as good. So it's like, I love Dior, but $52 or 50, what did I say? $52 versus 13. I mean, this side of my face is going to be under $100. This side will be over $250 when we're done. So I think, that's like nowadays, that's like a tank of gas. And I'm just going to put a little bit, again, this isn't contour, it's bronzer. So I'm not trying to go down here and sculpt out a chin, or a jawline, but I am trying to just give a little bit of bronze to warm up the face. I'll carry that a little bit more through here and then up through the forehead. So bronzing is a little bit more of a figure 8, if you will. Oh, hello. I'm glad to see you. I saw you yesterday too, Monica. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. When you put these on a live stream, I'm newer to YouTube, so I'm always wondering, gosh, is anybody even going to want to come and spend their time with me for an hour? So you guys, it means so much to me that you do that. So thank you. Thank you for taking time and making a space in your day and holding space for all of us to just share, a positive experience. So I really do appreciate that. All right. Well, good. So there you go. Stacy, I hope you find it. And yeah, Ulta has it. Target has it. Walmart has it. Amazon, you can order it online. Again, we'll link it all down below if you want to save on gas and you don't want to be out driving around. We'll make it easy for you. All right, the next product. I could just go on and on and on. All right, you guys, the next product, if you saw these Hourglass liquid blushes, and I do really love these. These are gorgeous. You can see how creamy they go on. They look just like a flush of color, which is what we're looking for with our more mature skin. I don't have a lot of texture right through here, but I do have larger pores. So having a product that is liquid that you can tap onto your cheeks and just gives you a nice flush of color, that's where these Hourglass ones come in. This is in shade Scene. It comes in 7 shades, and this sells for $38. And you guys, if I had a ruler, that's probably less than an inch. And I'd love to tell you the fluid ounces on this, but again, it's written in, it's somewhere here, but it's not a lot, not a lot. All right. Not a lot for $38. So enter the world of Morphe Hot Shots. These are pretty similar in the shade. In fact, I'll show you on my hand. Again, I'm not about giving you a dupe for the shade. I'm more about giving you a dupe for the formula, but these are pretty close together. Let me make sure I shake that well. This is in the shade Natural Heat, and these are called blush drops, and they sell for $9. So there is the Hourglass, and there is the Morphe. Now I'll show you how it wears. It is a little bit thicker, so you have to work with it in a smaller amount. You don't want that much on your hand. When I do blush, I like to go with a smaller. This is a Nikki LaRose. This is actually a foundation brush, but I like this for my blush. I'm going to use the darker side. Take just a little bit. It is a pretty color, isn't it? I mean, if that was a lipstick color, that screams 90s, and I'm here for it. So just going to pat it out because it's very pigmented. You do need to thin it out a little bit because we want a flush of color. So it's very dangerous doing it with a white shirt. Wish me luck. So we're just going to tap that on. I mean, isn't that pretty? That is so pretty. Again, that is natural heat. Nice, pretty flush of color. I think we should make this a lipstick color. I know, 90s lipstick was so good. I heard today that there's a bunch of things coming back that have been out for a while. Did you guys hear that low-rise jeans are on their way back? I wasn't happy to hear that because that's just not a look I'm going to embrace again. That look left me about 30 years ago. But if 90s lipstick would come back, that would be awesome. Pretty, right? In fact, let's just add a little. We need this hourglass light a little bit more. Really, again, Morphe has done a phenomenal job, I think, coming back and reinventing themselves from what they were before they went into bankruptcy. And I am glad to see because they do offer a cost-effective alternative to more expensive makeup, and it's a good quality product. I like Morphe brushes as well. In fact, I've got one here that I just absolutely love. This is a nice fluffy run. So Morphe has come back, I think, with a vengeance. Has anybody else tried Morphe products recently? Do you have one that you like? Their eyeshadows, we talked about their cream eyeshadows in one of my videos. You guys really seem to love that. Airplay, Chorus were some of your favorite. So really excited to see what Morphe is coming back with. All right, so let's see, Monica, what is the best way to make your blush last? I can't get mine to stay no matter how I try. Okay, couple ways to make your blush last. One, Monica, is you can apply it just the way I just did with a little bit of cream like that, and then take another blush, either the same color or maybe a little lighter, a little darker. You can play with it. That's a powder, and just lightly tap that on. So whenever you put powder over cream or liquid, it helps lock it in. So a nice way to get your blush is to apply a liquid or cream like we did and then go over it with a powder. If you only have creams and liquids and you're like, I don't want to go buy another product, then you can take a little bit of setting spray on your brush and then just go pat it over your cream and or liquid. But usually a powder, any kind of powder, if you have a setting powder for your under eye area, you can use that. You can use a clear translucent powder. But I find that when you add a blush, a powder blush on top of your cream or your liquid blush, you really get a nice dimension out of your blush. It's not just kind of one shade. You get really pretty dimension, very similar to eyeshadow. When you're applying eyeshadows with creams in different shades, you get that different layers of dimensions and color. Same goes with your blush. So that will definitely help you with your blush. Where exactly should blush be placed? On the Cheetos or the cheeks? Okay, so it's interesting. This is such a great question, you guys, because I think YouTube has taught us a lot about makeup, but it also makes us think we should do things the same. So thank you for this question, Lynn, because I find, and I have to credit Glam Girl Gabby for this and Rosemary Swift, because Rosemary taught Gabby, Gabby's taught everyone. When you put your blush in through this hollowness of your eye and carry it up, it just blends out through here really nicely on more mature skin. So you can just look down. I mean, it's not a pretty view, but this is what it is. And you carry that blush right up through the hollow of your eye and then up and around like that. And I like to just softly blend it into my temple. Now, in terms of the front of the face, I don't go any more into my nose than the center of my eye, which most people say is 2 fingers. You could do it that way. I just must have bigger fingers because I think my blush would not come around enough. I like it to curve right to my eye right here. Now, in terms of how high or how low, I think the thought of adding it to the apples of your cheeks is a good idea if when you stop smiling, the apples of your cheeks are in the same place. That's not what happens when you get older, because these jowls right here are actually fat pads that have slowly migrated. So you want to put, I find for me, I like to put the blush right about here, which is where my cheekbone kind of stops and goes into that hollowness of the eye. That's where I like to put the top of my paddle and then work it in and up. So everyone's face is different. So I really would recommend playing with it. You don't want it so far back here that the blush doesn't curve with your face. You want the blush to curve onto your face so that you can see it when it's straight and you can see it from the side. And when you start too far back here, you really don't get the benefit of a rosy cheek on when you're looking at someone straight on, because this is all foundation and then you've got the blush here. So you want to bring it around the curve of your face, but not too close to your nose. And then again, kind of centered between your eyes and your lips. That's kind of the way, that's a good way to do it. Just between your eyes and your lips, right there. And then into this divot area. Does that answer your question? Everyone's face is different, so I wish I could just have all of you guys here and we would all just do it together. But that's what I would recommend when you're looking in the mirror and trying to figure out what's best for the placement on your face and to get a little bit of a highlighted cheekbone lift. Yes, the curve of the blush, a little bit around the blush. Okay, how do we mute the blush that's way too bright? I bought a liquid blush and the color is way too much. All right, first thing, that happens a lot because the pigment in these blushes, I mean, I don't know if they're all using AI trying to figure out the recipe for how to make the brightest blush ever, but they are bright, so I get that. Put it on the back of your hand first. I mean, you can see that Morphe, if I would have just went straight in, that's what that blush would have looked like had I not kept spreading it out, diluting it a little bit, and really working it into my brush and then going in. So that's the first way to really work it here before you go here. And I just keep a thing of wipes, handy wipes, moist handy wipes right off to the side where I do my makeup, so I can keep wiping my hands as I'm doing it so that I'm not, you know, this all over stuff would be a mess. That's the first thing. The second thing, if you find that you're in a hurry and you've got too much blush on, in fact, I'm just going to do that so that you can see, because that is real life and that does happen. Let me just put too much on. And the other way that I like to, yes, blush party. I'm here for it. Drugstore blush party. Then what you can do is take your foundation brush that I just put away. Take your foundation brush that you applied your foundation or your base with earlier and go over it really lightly, and that is a quick way to mute your blush. Now, this is also considered what they call undersculpting, which when I'm doing a glam look for a night out, I will always undersculpt, which means I put on the bronzer, the contour, the blush, and even the highlighter, and then the foundation. So this going over your blush with your foundation brush is a really nice way of muting that blush if you get to be too much, and giving it a nice blended look so that it looks all very uniform with the rest of your makeup. So if you've never done undersculpting before, you guys, I really encourage you to give it a try. Just if you're on my channel and just type in undersculpting, and the videos that I've created will come up if you want to learn how to do it. It's exactly what I just said. It's putting on all of those other shades and colors and then putting on your foundation. And what's great about it is you don't have to be specifically detailed, real precise with all those other colors, your blush, your contour, your bronzer, your highlight, because that foundation just, it just makes it look like you were a pro artist and used the right amount of everything and just melts it all together, even on our more mature skin. You don't want to go in, you know, straight with this and straight with your blush. You still want to put on a light hand, blend it in a little bit, and then go over it with your foundation. Flawless. Really, really gorgeous. So that's a great question. All right. Do you have any favorite drugstore nude blushes? Nude. That's a good question. I would say this one is actually quite nude once you put it on. And this comes in, what did I say? 24. Am I right about that? No, 4 shades. This one comes in 4 shades. So you might find one in this Morphe, and I like the formula of it. So I would take a look at the shades there and see. I think most blushes can be nude if you apply them here and dilute them first and then go on and use it. It will give you just that flush of color. You can also try using something like this bronzer stick if your skin tone's a little darker than mine. This would make a really pretty, more nude blush if you just want a little bit of dimension and a sun-kissed look and not much of a flush of color. Something like this would be beautiful as well. Nita, let's see. What if you use a beauty blender to apply your foundation? I would say you could still do this. If you apply your blush too thick or you don't like the look, you want to dilute it down a little bit, you can still go over it with a beauty blender. I would make sure that your beauty blender is really way more to the damp dry side than the damp side, because what you'll do is you'll pick up too much product. I'm not a fan of beauty blenders as I've gotten older because I just find that it picks up too much product underneath. So if you have foundation and then you have blush and then you go over it with a beauty blender, you might find that you're disturbing that really nice blush that you just did. You could go in with your finger, just go over it. If we're talking about muting down your blush, you could just go over it with your finger, or if you have another fluffy brush any fluffy brush that you haven't used in a while that's clean, you could just go in right on that blush and pick up some of that more pigment. But to save yourself from doing that, I just recommend the hand method first. And I think you'll find that you get a really pretty coverage and just that flush of color versus more of a blush of color. I remember my grandma's makeup. You guys can probably contest to this. The way our grandmas wore, and I love my grandma dearly, she's since passed years ago, but her blush was definitely blushing. And it worked back in the day. That's what the blush was. It was very much a blush color. And now it's more of a flush of color. So we just have to apply it a little bit differently. So you're welcome, Nita. That's what we're here for. That's what we're all here for, is to learn together. So that was a great question. Can you undersculpt if you use powder, brush, bronzer, etc.? It does make it much more tricky because you're applying a cream over powder. There are some makeup artists that do that and say that is the only way they will do it. So I won't say no, you can't. I find on my more mature skin, it gets a little bit, it looks more texturized because I'm moving that powder around. So you just have to be really careful with that. If your foundation is a liquid, obviously, or a cream foundation, you just want to use more of almost like a paddle brush and kind of pat that on over your powder products. And again, years ago, I would have said absolutely not. Don't put cream on top of powder. But there are some makeup artists that do that and it looks beautiful and they swear by that. I've done a tutorial on that once before and it really looked nice. So the answer is yes. I think it works. It's an easier application if you do cream with cream, but no rules, you can do it. It will look okay. You just have to be careful how you apply that cream product on top of those powders. So great question. Thanks for that. All right. Do you or should we always use a contour under our blush before your blush goes on? I don't think you ever have to, you guys. In fact, I've gotten away from using contour. And I love this question, Lynn, because again, it's as we're aging, if we keep applying our makeup without stopping and looking in the mirror and go, you know what, my face isn't responding the same as it used to, then the answer is no. And what I mean by that is I used to really contour my cheeks because I wanted cheekbones. Well, as I've gotten older, my dad's good old cheekbones are shining through because everything else is losing collagen. And now my cheekbones look borderline skeleton. So by contouring, you are essentially caving it in to give structure. If you have cheekbones like I do, where it's like, oh, I just look really skeletal through here, then I wouldn't contour. I would just add a little bit of bronzer, not where you contour, but a little bit of bronzer. Where's my bronzing? Which one did I use for bronzing? This one, I think. Then I would bronze to warm up the face, but I wouldn't do a harsh contour right through here. Now, if you are somebody that you don't see your cheekbones and you feel like you're losing collagen everywhere else in your face, including your cheeks, and you want to have some cheekbones, then absolutely use a little bit of contour. And the best way to do that, I'm going to look crazy, but that's okay. The best way to do that, I'm just going to use this one because it's a sharper edge. Well, let me use the Lumi because let's just prove that you can use that one as well. Does it have an edge? Yeah, it's a little softer edge, but we can make it work. You're going to take any makeup brush that you have or use your finger and roll it along your cheekbone. So you know right where your cheekbone stops. Then you're going to take your product and on top of whatever instrument you use, whether it's a brush or your finger, you're going to take the edge of that contour and or bronzer, whichever product you have, Contour, remember, you want more of a dark brown, a grayish brown, and you're just going to lightly put that right on the high side of your marker, but your marker rolled under your cheekbone because you want to create a lift in your cheekbones. And then you are going to blur and blend up. And see how that just lifts that. Now it looks really dramatic on me because my cheekbones are already so, I'm too hollow through here, but I'm not going to get any fillers or anything. But see how that instantly cut that cheekbone, defined it. That's a great place for your contour. Now you notice that it was in an upward motion. It's never straight back, and you don't want to go too much at an angle because then it makes your face look elongated. So not flat, not too much at an angle, but right about at a soft angle. Let me just show you that again so we can show the side, like top of your ear maybe. See that angle? It's almost the same as my natural cheekbone, so you want to follow that angle, and it just makes a heck of a difference if you want to create cheekbones. That's why that technique works so well along when you're trying to contour your jawline, you guys. And that is something that I still do religiously. And I think it's because of social media. Have you noticed how many reality stars or just celebrities, they all have that chin implant? So when you see women on social media and they have this very snatched, tight jawline, just know that part of how they got that is a filler through here. A big bit of filler comes back here. When you fill back here, it pulls all this tight. But the third thing is many of them have chin implants to pull this out. When this is pulled out and this is pulled back, you have no choice but to have a more snatched jawline. I think it looks unnatural. At first I was like, gosh, that just looks so pretty where they have no chin and nothing here, but it's all fake. It's not real. So I take my bronzer or contour and just go right on that jawline and blend it. Now, if you are wanting to create a more pulled back jawline, then where you want to put this is not on the high side and not under, but right where it rolls. If you put it too high, you've got to blend it really well, and it still won't look that natural in person. In pictures, you'll look absolutely fantastic, but it'll look weird in person. So you want to put it right where the roll is and blend it down underneath. And if you've got a little bit more of a double chin, then blend that little bit of darkness right there as well. Create that cool little part here. And just like that. And I'm doing that with this, what is it, $6, $13 Lumi. So you don't need expensive products to do this. Just like that. So when you see people that have a snatched jawline, it's fake, like really fake, or you can just use something like this. Okay, so there are different ways to use those products. Now, this was all about the face, but we have 15 minutes left. So I think I'm just going to finish my eyes a little bit and give you guys an update. So if you saw my Friday face-off a couple weeks ago, you saw that I did a Friday face-off with the Victoria Beckham eyeliner and the NYX Vivid. And I showed you how much I liked NYX, and I shared with you how much I didn't like the Victoria Beckham. Well, subsequently, I did go to a Victoria Beckham masterclass, and I asked the lady, I said, could you please show me the proper way to use your eyeliner? Because I don't really love your eyeliner and I want to love it. Well, I don't really want to love it because I'm not going to pay that much for eyeliner all the time. This part was said in my head, not actually out loud. But I do want to know, now that I have it, I want to use it. And I want to do a follow-up to you guys to share with you what the deal is with this eyeliner, because it was very messy. It's hard to work with. But after learning how to use it, I do want to be fair and say that this Victoria Beckham eyeliner is meant to be used in a certain way. If you are going to apply, if you like eyeliner across your whole eye, this is meant to put in just about half the eye and then spread it the rest of the way. It has a sponge tip applicator on it. So you are meant to put it half of what you want and then smudge it the rest of the way. So I want to be fair and come back and say, if you saw that video and how much I hated this, I still don't love it, but it was user error. Apparently you need to use it a little differently. So if you have it and you hate it as much as I do, maybe that tip will help. All right, but what do I love? I love the new e.l.f. cream eyeshadows. Again, this was going to be about the face, but might as well finish my eyes. These are really good dupes for the Makeup by Mario Master Mats. But you guys, if you really want these, you know the Sephora sale is tomorrow. I do have a Sephora storefront that they allowed me to have. So tomorrow I will link a link in my Instagram stories to my storefront. And there's a collection just for what I buy during the sale to save money. So if you are looking for recommendations on products that I actually have purchased multiple times, and what I'm getting out of the sale, that's where I buy some of my hair care products. The K18 I buy a lot during the sale. Some of my Charlotte Tilbury Rare Beauty. And I am going to pick up that new Rare Beauty foundation because I've seen everybody talk about it. A lot of influencers are talking about it. I'm not, because I didn't get it sent to me. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to buy it and see what we think. So this is the e.l.f. Shouldn't have to go to a masterclass to know how to use next. Right. But it was, I mean, it's so pigmented. It's a soft formula. And you're right. That's such a good point, Monica. We should be able to pick up a darn eyeliner, know how to use it, right? Which why I like $6 NYX. You guys, I'll tell you a funny story about that $6 NYX. I was at Ulta last week, and this lady, and she's in our age bracket, she was in Ulta, and I low-key stalk Ultas sometimes because it's how I create content. I walk through Ulta usually on a weekday where it's more women our age that are asking questions, and I listen to the questions that they're asking because it tells me, okay, so women our age are asking about, they need to know this information. They're not sure how to do this or how to do that. So I low-key stalk Ulta during the week sometimes to find out what we're wanting to know more about. And this nice lady was asking the salesperson, who was all of 25, not that there's anything wrong with that, but who's all 25, asked about an eyeliner, and she had a MAC eyeliner. And she said, I just don't want to spend that much for an eyeliner. I'd like one more cost effective. Do you have an idea? Well, this nice 25-year-old started walking her across to the expensive section, like the Anastasia of Beverly Hills and all the. And I'm thinking, the lady just said she didn't want to spend MAC. So why are we going to that side of Ulta? So I just thought I don't normally do this, but there was this instant, I don't know, maybe God. He's like, I had this instant courage. So I just said, excuse me, do you mind? Can I answer that for her? And this lady looked at me like, who the hell are you, lady? So I told the Ulta lady, I said, do you mind if I answer that question? I said, I just did a review on some eyeliners, and if the MAC one is a price point she's not interested in, can I just give her an option? And she goes, well, yeah. And so the nice lady who was looking for the product, I said, let me just take you over here to NYX. And while the Ulta lady wasn't thrilled with it, because I helped her with her NYX eyeliner for $6, she then asked me about eyebrows. So I helped with eyebrows, and then she asked about blush. So I felt like Ulta should be happy that I was there to help, because I helped sell a few more products because I knew what the lady wanted. But at first they were a little put off by my asking to help. So luckily I go to enough Ultas. None of them know who I am, but they're not really excited to have people help, which I was a little disappointed in. All right. So while we're talking about NYX, I'm going to go with the NYX Vivid Rich. This is in Truffle Diamond. I've been loving the NYX. It's so good, right? Yeah, it's so good. So I have it in Truffle Diamond. I'm just going to lightly go on the outer corner and just do the slightest little wing. And then I'm going to go up underneath here. Not really trying to tight line. I'm just trying to push that product up into my lashes, because as I've gotten older, my lashes they're long because I use Latisse, but there's not a ton of them. So I need to give the appearance that I have more fuller, thicker lash line, which is what using a little bit of a dark brown eyeliner right up here will do for you. And then we will go with mascara, and I'm going to go with the Essence Lash Princess. Let me know how much you guys, if this is one of your favorite, because I do that show on King 5 here in Seattle where I share some of my favorite beauty tips. The upcoming segment is going to be about beauty on a budget, and I really want to incorporate some of what you guys love. So I have a challenge to do drugstore or makeup that's under $10. And this, in the mascara category, this is probably going to be my my mascara pick. Now I do like Maybelline Fireworks, as you guys know, but that is $13. This is under 10. So I would love to know, what do you guys have a drugstore product under $10 that you absolutely love? Because I like to showcase at least 6 products on TV, and I just want to hear what you guys have to say, because you guys all have some really good ideas. I can well imagine how grateful that one was. She was. I felt like I met a new friend. And I felt like she trusted me because we could relate. We were both in the same age bracket. So that's what life's all about. I always say, tell the information you learn and pay. Amen. I totally agree, right? And when you're a girl's girl, like all of us are on this community, there's no gatekeeping. Like, if it works for me, I hope it works for you. If not, then that's okay too. All right. So that is the final drugstore look. I shared with you guys my eye products. I was going to do a different video on the eye just so that you could get some good dupes for eye products, but there you go. I think that I should have used this lighter elf, I think, because I used the mauve on the Makeup by Mario side, and I probably should have used this, even though this is more of a brown, where this is mauve. So, but other than that, I think they look pretty darn good. So when you consider the drugstore look, you guys, versus the very other expensive side, I mean, I think it looks really the same. I will take a picture of this, like I said, and put it on my Instagram stories in about 4 hours, just so you can get a sense for how it wears. So is there any other questions you guys have? We've got a few minutes left. I want to sincerely thank you for being here, but let's have Q&A if you've got some other questions about makeup. Oh gosh, look what I just did. This shirt's not going to last. It's just not. I'm going to have to call them and say, do you need me to do another modeling gig? Because I need another shirt. The Essence new cream eyeshadows are great. Ooh, okay. I didn't know Essence came out with a new cream eyeshadow. I do like this new concealer of theirs for sure. So I will have to try that. Okay. Thanks, Jennifer. I will write that one down. I had to buy the Makeup by Mario lipstick and the Morphe eyeshadow because of you. Oh, did you buy South Shore? Do I know? Oh, here it is. Makeup by Mario South Shore. Yes, it's so good. See, that's what I have on today. It's so good. I'm glad you bought it though. I'm glad you love it. Morphe eyeshadows are good. You guys, I do take that seriously, just so you do use a setting spray daily. I don't use a setting spray daily, Christy, and I haven't found that I needed one with the Ulta Beauty Complexion Crush. You know, it's my holy grail foundation. I don't find that I need one with that. I've been using this one probably the last week and a half, and I don't find that I need one with that either. So I don't. If I have a long day ahead of me, then I for sure will. And by that, I mean, if I'm not going to have time to touch up throughout the day, then I will use a setting spray. And I like Cossus has a really nice one. Elf has a good one, that Elf Grip Primer. It's the green setting spray. They're like Maybelline's mascara. There's so many Elf setting sprays, but I do like the green one. It's that Power Grip. And I think it's a really nice one. You have to shake it because it has an oil and a water in it. So once you shake it up, it works really well. Charlotte Tilbury also has a really good one. I find that one works best if I have on a matte foundation, because at some reason, even though there is a matte formula in that Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, I find that even the non-matte setting spray kind of gives me a matte look. So I don't wear that one on days that I have a matte foundation, which is most days, because between this NYX and Ulta Beauty Complexion Crush, I like that soft matte. So the Elf works really nice on top of a matte foundation without making it look too matte. So that's a great question. Would love to see every step on putting on a good brow. Oh gosh. Well, thank gosh brows are meant to be sisters and not twins, because sometimes mine don't even look like they're in the same family tree. But let me see. I don't know if I'm quite talented. I don't know if I could do a brow and talk at the same time. But for you guys, yes, I'll be willing to do that. So maybe in an upcoming live stream, I will do the brows. I do several brow tutorials on my channel. So if between now and the time I do it live, you want a demonstration, you can certainly go and look up any of my eye makeup tutorials. I usually throw in the brow as well. So I'm happy to do that. Let me know if you guys are liking these live streams. Right now, I'm doing them once a month on Thursdays in lieu of a Friday face-off on that one Thursday. So you still get 3 to 4 Friday face-offs a month, but one less now that we're doing live streams. But I just sure love them because I love a chance to talk to you guys and visit. I am a teacher on a budget and I saw the Morphe blushes on sale. Due to Jodi, I went back. I'm going back tomorrow. Okay, good. And natural, what I say this one was, natural heat. That's what this one was. But you use sparingly or else you look like you have a weird sunburn. Yeah, but it's gorgeous. Lipstick, I'm hoping. Morphe, if you watch this, lipstick, we want that. All right, you guys, this is so much fun. I'm so grateful that you're here today. Thank you for watching. I do have a fun video coming out on Sunday. It's a little different for me, but I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. So if you start to watch and you're like, Jodi, what is this? Trust the process. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. Yeah, I want to hear what you guys think after you watch that one. So thanks so much for being here. It's always the highlight of my month when I get to have a live stream with you guys. And I will see you in just a couple days. Bye-bye.